If you're not aware already, Gen 5 is in Pokemon Go now. Now, not every single Gen 5 Pokemon is in the game at this time, but we do have Game Master information on all of their movesets and stats. Therefore, we know which Pokemon are the Gen 5 winners and which Pokemon are the Gen 5 losers. Now, this video is part 3 in what appears to be a 4-part series. So, if you haven't seen this series already, well, skate on over to part 1. Got a link up here, got a link down in the description as well. So yeah, get on it. But this video, part 3, is covering Gothitelle all the way to Hydreigon. And I do want to note that there have been move changes ever since the video was initially recorded. So Psychic is now better than Future Sight. Good news is Gothitelle has both of them. So yeah. Additionally, Niantic, for whatever reason, got rid of Sky Attack on Mandy Buzz. Mandy Buzz is still really cool, but it's not nearly as cool as it initially was. So keep that in the back of your mind when you watch the video. Then we got the Gothitelle. Gothitelle's pretty interesting. So it's a bulky psychic type Pokemon, like we've ever heard of that before. And as far as the moveset department goes, we got a W here. You know, we got Charm, we got Confusion, we got Rock Slide, we got Future Sight. So as far as the offensive presence goes, not really there. But as far as like gym defense and PvP goes, this thing could be kind of annoying. Like gym defense, you've got Confusion and Charm to annoy the heck out of your Machamp Conkeldurr with. And then you got Rock Slide, which is a pretty aggressive charge move as far as gym defense is concerned. And then on the PvP side of the force, you kind of have like Deoxys Defense Form Light. It's not as dynamic as Deoxys Defense Form or like Hypno, but it's kind of less exclusive than them too. So if you don't have the Legacy Hypno, the Deoxys Defense Form, Gothitelle could come in, be just a savage psychic type for you. So we'll have to see how that goes in the future. As things stand right now though, Deoxys and Hypno does this job better. So Reuniclus, another bulky psychic type Pokemon, but it got Zen Headbutt, so it's a loser. And that's all you need to know about it. Nothing else. Zen Headbutt, bad Pokemon. I just want to point out Ducklet. I don't know why, but I like this color. It's like the shiny Psyduck color going on here. So Ducklet, he's a cutie. Even though the design's so simple, it's just a duck, but it's a blue duck. As far as Swanna goes, the evolved form, not that hot. It's like Gyarados, but not good. So, sorry Swanna. And next up, we got the 3 different flavors of ice cream here. We got Vanillite, which evolves into a Vanillish, which evolves into the Vanillux, the deluxe ice cream cone. It even has a straw. I don't know, like this design is just like one of the designs that people always point to when they talk about like how bad the not Gen 1 Pokemon are. I think Vanillux is fine, but it is kind of painful to look at a little bit. In the moveset department, nothing cool going on here. Even though you're an ice type, nothing cool. Alright, now we got Deerling and Sawsbuck. Both these Pokemon aren't bad. I mean, they are bad. What am I talking about? Baiting you guys here. I don't know. What is Sawsbuck's move pool? Did it get a cool move pool? Nothing too interesting in the normal type department. So both these Pokemon, Deerling, Sawsbuck, not too interesting as far as the meta is concerned. One thing that's interesting about them though, what I like about them, is that they have 4 different seasonal forms, right? So they look different depending on the season. And according to the Game Master files, it seems to be something that Pokemon Go is going to be implementing. So, I don't know, I like those little things. You know, they're changing with the season, and you get the different forms that way. So, I hope that they're found in the wild, and we don't have to spin Pokestops to get the quests to find them. I hate that. Spinda, really annoying. I'm excited to catch all 4 forms of each Pokemon for my decks. Alright, now we got Emolga. Emolga had some baby hype in PvP. It seemed like a lot of PvPers thought this guy was going to be like the next best thing. Electric type Pokemon that can deal with grass type Pokemon. I mean, we already technically have that if you look at Magnezone. This one can fly though, so it's different. Even though it's got a lot going for it in that respect, in PvP, stat-wise, moveset-wise, I don't think it's a really standout Pokemon. Thundershock, Discharge, Aerial Ace might be good in the future, but in the right now, I'm pretty sure nothing too hot's going on with the Emolga. Alright, now we got Escavalier. Carablast might be a new unique trade evolution. So Carablast and Shelmet, these 2 Pokemon, in the main series games, you trade them with a friend. So you trade them a Shelmet, they trade you a Carablast, whatever. And then they like swap outfits kind of, or like Carablast steals Shelmet's helmet. And with stealing Shelmet's helmet, it transforms into the Escavalier. So that's how that works. And that's why Shelmet looks like it should evolve into this guy. and that's why this guy looks like a Carablast with armor on. Mystery solved. As far as it and the meta goes, nothing really interesting going on. It looks like it gets Drill Run, continuing the trend of non-ground type Pokemon getting Drill Run, because who knows why, but definitely not too standout for anything. Now we got Amoonguss. Anybody that has done any VGC action in the main series games, probably well aware of this guy. So he's just a big old spongy fungus. He's got this ability called Rage Powder, no, an attack, Rage Powder, to direct attacks to him. And then he's got all these like status effect moves. So really annoying for double battles. As far as Pokemon Go is concerned, Amoonguss doesn't have any tricks up its sleeve at all whatsoever. So yeah, nothing going on with it for us. Now we got Jellicent or Jellicent, really good for gym defense. I'm not too certain about how well it's going to perform for like a pre-raid gym defense strat, but if you got a more like laid back gym defense strategy, you know, gym defense over time, Jellicent here is an upgrade to the slow dudes. Because the slow dudes, their main claim to fame is that they resist both Metagross and Machamp / Conkeldurr. This guy has the same thing going on, except it doubly resists the Machamp and resists Metagross on top of it. So yeah, really big defensive stats too. So thick boy, really annoying for gyms in general. And then it also has Hex, so it has an effective move on Metagross as well. So I feel like as far as being a well-rounded gym defender goes, Jellicent definitely has it going on. So expect to see a giant floating Pringle can that's also blue in a lot of your gyms in the future. There's also a pink version, so I believe it's a gender thing between them. This is like the king and the other one's a queen. I don't think the queen one has a mustache. Let's find out. Jellicent pink. It does not have a mustache. It has like kind of like a ruff going on. It's like more floral looking. At any rate, these two Pokemon, gym defenders for sure. And then also a circumstance of their bulk and typing. They're also pretty decent for PvP as well. Ghost type, resisting the fighting, that going on for them. And then the water typing, resisting other waters. And then you got Hex and Shadow Ball. So bam, bread and butter, ghost type moveset. Like all you need, the base requirements for being a good ghost type Pokemon in PvP. Jellicent's got it. Now we got Alomomola. Another interesting Pokemon for gym defense. Not so much pre-raid because its stats just aren't that big. But as far as like gym defense over time, another good source of harassment. It's got really big stamina. 338. When it's in a gym, that's doubled. Thick, water type, Chansey type Pokemon here. And then as far as the movesets go, it's got Waterfall and Hidden Power. So Waterfall, really solid general attack to just hit things hard, make them annoyed. And then Hidden Power, if you got some galaxy brain idea going on as far as how you want to hit things, maybe you could craft something up with that. The charge moves kind of leave a lot to be desired. You got Hydro Pump, Blizzard, Psychic. Overall, I feel Hydro Pump is going to be the best one for gym defense, so I'd go for that. Nothing too stand out other than the fact that it's really tanky. And then on the PvP side of the force, Waterfall is nothing new, and it doesn't have any like secondary typings to back it up. So in the PvP side of the force, nothing too cool going on there. And then the charge moves are all really high cost, plus Waterfall. So yeah, definitely not happening in PvP, but could be interesting for gym defense for sure. All right, now we got the Galvantula. It's an electric bug type Pokemon. Its pre-evolution Joltik is pretty cute. It's like a little tiny critter. Like, look at it. Look at the Joltik. You wouldn't squish this bug. It's too cute. Galvantula though, it's kind of creepy. Big hairy spider. One that you would run from in fear. Yeah, nothing too fancy going on with it. Next up we got Ferrothorn. Now people that are into the main series games battling will definitely remember Ferrothorn being one of the more annoying tanky pivots. So what it had going on in the main series games is that it's a steel type Pokemon. And when it first debuted, Outrage users were like the big thing at the time. And when you used Outrage in the main series games, you'd be like locked in. Like you were strapped into doing that attack until you switch out. You don't want to switch into this guy because it's got spiky barbs going on. So then they'd hit you and you'd resist it and you'd take like no damage. And then they'd take a bunch of chip damage because they hit you. And it was just like a nice setup Pokemon, tanky pivot type guy. As far as gym defense goes in Pokemon Go, it really doesn't bring a whole lot to the table. I mean, it's a steel type Pokemon, so it's weak to Machamp and Conkeldurr. It doesn't have a secondary typing to back that up. I don't really see a whole lot going on for it. I mean, it does resist Metagross, so you could like weave it in with Machamp resistors to cause some harassment, but I feel like there's other Pokemon that harass Metagross even more. I'm not really feeling Ferrothorn too much. And then as far as the PvP side of the force goes, it's got a bit going for it. I mean, it's a steel grass type Pokemon, so it's got an interesting set of resistances. I'd compare it to the Fortress in a way, but I feel like Fortress has more threatening moves happening for it. Fortress, you just kind of drop the bomb with the Earthquake. Ferrothorn doesn't really have a bomb to drop, so yeah. It's got Acid Spray, so that could be interesting in certain setup situations, but I feel like overall, Ferrothorn's just a little bit too like non-threatening to make it in the world. We'll have to see what happens in the future. Rather than Kling-Klang, Clang, according to T-Forgery in his article, had the potential to be a good Steel-type Pokemon with like a Discharge, Spark-type moveset, like a Magneton, but maybe better. You know, the cards just weren't in its favor, so this whole line, it's not interesting as far as gym defense, PvP, all that. They do have like a signature Steel-type attack that they might get in the future, which might give them some hype, circumstances depending, but for the time being, not a whole lot going on with them. Electros. Electros is an electric type Pokemon. As far as gym defense and attacking goes, nothing cool going on here. But on the PvP side of the force, I do want to point out that it does have Spark, which is a good energy gaining attack. And it's got like a nice array of just like pestilent moves. It's got Crunch, happens pretty quickly. It's got Dragon Claw, pretty aggressive. Acid Spray combined with Spark means fast Acid Spray, which could be interesting. So I think it's got a nice little assortment of tricks in its little trick bag. Definitely not a top tier PvP Pokemon, but I think we might see some coolness from it in the future. Behime, Behim, I don't know, man. Some alien dude coming from outer space, doing like nothing terribly interesting at all. So it doesn't have a really good like defensive stat spread. So even though it does have some good moves for gym defense, which is just basically Confusion and Rock Slide. And then as far as PvP goes, well, there's already a more tanky Pokemon that does this job in the Gothitelle. So sorry, Beheem. Everybody already has your job and they're doing it better. And you're just kind of here looking weird. Certainly be an interesting Pokemon to capture since it's so weird looking. Now we got Chandelure. And Chandelure is definitely a Gen 5 winner. So in my article, I don't think Chandelure was like any meat and potato type pick for the top 10 because there was like always like a ghost type or a fire type doing its job better. But it does the fire type and ghost type roles really well. It got Hex, Fire Spin, Shadow Ball, and Overheat, which are just all the right moves it needs to be good as a raid attacker or gym attacker in Pokemon Go. So hats off to you, Chandelure, for being awesome. And then if you remember in like the deep past, when I was talking about fire-type Pokemon, and I also roped in some fire-type simulations for the future to consider, this guy is a really big counter to Registeel and Regice, because fighting-type moves resisted, and then you're also whipping in fire-type attacks. So super high TDO option, also with really good DPS because of its resistances. And because of that, I think this Pokemon will be popping up as being like a top shelf kind of option for a lot of raids. Think about Cobalion coming up in the future. It's a steel fighting type Pokemon. This guy resisting both ends of the spectrum and hitting back super effective with fire type attacks. So I think we could see some hype coming from the Chandelure in the future. Haxorus is a semi-winner. I'm going to say it's a semi-Gen 5 winner. It's not an absolute winner in Gen 5 because it did get Dragon Tail, which is awesome, but it did not get Outrage. So it did not get the bread and butter Dragon type moveset. And even though Rayquaza would be a better Dragon type attacker than it anyways, even with that, this is a pure Dragon type Pokemon being awesome as a Dragon type attacker. Unfortunately for Haxorus, it did not get that claim. However, I will mention that Bioweapon, in his write-up about gym defense they did in like June, mentioned that he wished that there was like a pure Dragon type gym defender that was actually good because Dragonair just ain't gonna cut it. Well, this Pokemon, big stats, has Dragon Tail, which is optimal for gym defense, and it's got Dragon Claw, which is arguably better than Outrage for gym defense because it's got a lower energy cost. And then it's got like Surf and Night Slash if you want some variety in there instead. Because like Surf hits neutral onto the Metagross, and then Night Slash is actually super effective on the Metagross. So I think as a gym defender, Haxorus here does have some good potential to be an annoying, optimized type gym defender. So we'll have to see what happens as far as future simulations go, or when we will actually get Haxorus with how they do like the trickle releases, the waves. What wave will Haxorus be in? I don't know. But I think it'll be pretty interesting as a gym defender. And then on the PvP side of the force, thinking about the Master League, it had some interesting potential there too. So the 2 top dogs in the Master League right now, Dialga and Giratina, both of which are vulnerable to Haxorus's moveset. We got Counter here, which is super effective on the Dialga, and then Dragon Tail, which really isn't all that great, unfortunately, but it is super effective onto the Giratina. Then you got Dragon Claw, which is aggressive, and then you've got Earthquake for a super effective hit, Night Slash, which is a super effective hit. You figure out which Pokemon they're super effective for. The Ghost or the Steel type. But I think it's got a pretty interesting moveset for PvP. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a big standout Master League master by any stretch, but I think it's got some potential. Next up, we got Cubchoo and Beartic, which are basically the ice forms of Teddiursa and Ursaring. I do want to highlight how cute Cubchoo is. Just look at it. It's got this giant ice snot coming out of it. But yeah, ice-type Pokemon, they're not really doing anything new or interesting, so fortunately, they aren't it. Cryogonal. Let's go with that. Cryogonal. Big, scary ice-type Pokemon. Nothing too cool going on with it either. T-Forgery mentioned it in his PvP article, like Pokemon to look out for. Cryogonal did not get the right moveset. Exceligor, and while Exceligor does look cool, it's like this Uchiha Sasuke ninja looking guy, like, ooh man, so edgy. Yeah, it's not good in Pokemon Go for anything. In the main series games, he was mostly known for his like super mega high speed, which doesn't matter anything at all in Pokemon Go, so sorry Exceligor. We got Stunfisk, Master Supremo meme looking Pokemon here. Genius Pokemon with a genius design. It is an electric ground type Pokemon, which is perfectly unique to Stunfisk. Now, in the past, people are asking me, Ryan Swag, which Pokemon do you think are going to stand out in PvP in Pokemon Go with Gen 5? Honestly, for me to predict PvP goodness, I feel like it's too much. There's too many variables. But there was one Pokemon that I was sure that would have a good showing, and that was Stunfisk. Why? Because it's got good defensive stats already, which means, okay, this guy should be good for the Great League, for sure. And then, looking at its potential moveset, Mudshot, Spark, Thundershock, Discharge, Mud Bomb, had the potential to get all of those Omega fast attacks, like really aggressive moves, and it did. And then on top of that, it also got Muddy Water, which is like water type flavor aggressive attacks. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, so a really quick Pokemon. Overall, I'm gonna say it's not like a super standout meta-defining Pokemon by any stretch. Does Altaria care about this guy? Not really. Do any grass types care about it? No, grass types walk all over this guy. Deoxys, does Deoxys care? No. Not super threatening in terms of like the meta or the high-end meta goes in the Great League, but I could see in some future cups, you know, the stuff that I guess everybody cares about. This guy, top option. Let's say there's a cup in the Silpharina that allows electric type Pokemon, but not ground type Pokemon. What electric type Pokemon is going to be dominating all the other electric types? Is it the one with the ground subtyping and ground type attacks? Maybe. I definitely expect a lot coming from the Stunfisk going forward. So if you're a PvP minded person, when Stunfisk is released into the game, keep your eyes peeled. Mienshao cannot learn Counter, and I believe it can't learn Dynamic Punch in the main series games, so highlighted that to y'all in the past, so it didn't get either of those attacks because it can't learn them, and its stat spread is already pretty bad. So this guy, definitely a Gen 5 winner. Didn't expect it to win, and it didn't win, so sorry guy. Jojo Gan is a pure Dragon-type Pokemon, no evolutionary line, looks super angry, it got Dragon Tail and Dragon Claw. That's pretty interesting, except for the fact that Haxorus already does that, but better. So, sorry man. If Haxorus didn't get a good gym defense moveset, this guy might be worth discussing, but Haxorus does this job better. So, sorry, John. Next up, we got Golurk. So this is like the Iron Giant Ghost ground type Pokemon. So kind of interesting. One thing that always stood out to me in the main series games was that it could learn Fly. So it was like the first ever like not winged Pokemon to be flying around in the sky, so I kind of liked it. Even more Iron Giant vibes going on with it. As far as its potential in the game goes, I thought it could be interesting for PvP, but unfortunately it got Astonish and Mudslap, which are like two Garbo fast moves as far as PvP is concerned. So nothing cool going on here, nothing super unique, mainly because its fast moves are holding it back eternally. Yeah, so Shadow Punch, Dynamic Punch, Earth Power, not bad charge moves, but because it doesn't have the fast move to back it up, not happening. So, sorry Golurk. Could be interesting for gym defense because it's a ghost type, so it doubly resists Machamp, but that's it. And every ghost type doubly resists Machamp except for the ones that have like a secondary typing or whatever. Like, you get it. We got Bisharp. Bisharp looks like that guy from Mega Man. Was it Zero? So kind of cool looking design. Moveset department, not terribly bad. I don't see a whole lot going on for it as far as attacking or defending goes. But for PvP, maybe. It's got Snarl. It's got Iron Head. It's got X-Scissor. So it could pop up here and there in the future. In a cup, maybe. But as far as general Great League kind of stuff goes, yeah, not happening. Doubly weak to fighting type attacks. And you're weak to ground type attacks. So those are some pretty, like, not good looks going on. So we got Tauros 2.0. We got the Buffleland. Yeah, it's got Zen Headbutt, Mud Shot, so Zen Headbutt, not so hot. Mud Shot, kind of okay. Nothing really backing it up. So just another trophy Pokemon. Will it be regional? That is the question. Because we already have Tauros, in the Americas. So who'd get the Buffleland? The Buffleland. I don't know. Alright, now we got the Bravery. Bravery, the America bird Pokemon. Look at this thing. It just looks like freedom. And Bravery, by its namesake, got the move Brave Bird, which means it did not get Sky Attack, which means that it's not really that impressive at all whatsoever. So, sorry Bravery, not a good flying type. You had your one shot, you blew it on Brave Bird. Now we got Mandy Buzz, and Mandy Buzz is yet another Supremo Hype PvP Pokemon. And look at those thick defensive stats. So yeah, as far as PvPoke is concerned, Mandy Buzz rates number 3 in its overall generalized rankings. And for good reason. It is a thick, dark type Pokemon, so think like Umbreon, but it's got arguably better secondary moves going on. So Umbreon, you're kind of locked into doing dark type stuff, and then if you also have the signature move, Last Resort, you could whip that out. Sky Attack is better than Last Resort, so bam, there's that. And then we also now have a thick, imposing dark type Pokemon that can do other things other than being a dark type. You could go with Air Slash for the fast move. So you got, Pokemon with thickness and dark type resistances, but it can also do neutral flying type attacks, or maybe super effective flying type attacks on them grass and fighting type Pokemon. So I think Mandy Buzz has a lot going on for it in that respect. I feel like Mandy Buzz might be a little bit overhyped as a flying type Pokemon, sort of like how Scrafty is a little bit overhyped as a fighting type Pokemon, but I think the real benefit, just like with Scrafty, is their potential to fulfill like a dark type role as well. And then you're always leaving your opponent guessing. Is this the Mandy Buzz with Air Slash or the Mandy Buzz with Snarl? Which could prove advantageous in certain matchups. So I think Mandy Buzz is pretty cool. I think overall, as a flying type, Skarmory is still where it's at. But if you want that dark type flavor added in, you want to give like Deoxys some extra harassment going on, then Mandy Buzz could be the thing to whip out. And then it also claps the Scrafty with the flying type attacks. So who's the new cool dark type now, Scrafty? Who has the swag now? Now we got Heatmore. Heatmore is like this like anteater looking dude, kind of creepy. It has some hype though. And why does it have hype? Because it has Power Up Punch. So it is a Power Up Punch user. And its fast moves aren't that bad. We got Lick and Fire Spin. So on the PvP side of the force, we might see some hype from Heatmore in the future. But as far as the general Great League goes, not all that hype. Maybe in the future, we might see some coolness. We also got Thunder Punch too. So if you think about a specific Silpharina Cup that has fire type Pokemon in it, well then this guy's coming in swinging with electric type attacks to harass the Charizard. And you got the Power Up Punch to make yourself even stronger. And you got Lick, good neutral attack. So I don't know. I think there's a lot going on for the Heatmore, but in the general Great League, not really there. You got Durant. Durant is a Bug Steel type Pokemon, and it's worse than the other Bug Steel type Pokemon, and it didn't get anything outstanding, so yeah. Then we got Hydreigon, and we got Xylos. So Xylos has some hype in PvP, because it is a Dragon type Pokemon. It has Dragon Breath, which is all you need to be cool as a dragon type Pokemon. So could be some hype there. It also has Body Slam, which is a nice spammable attack. Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, not that great. Dark Pulse, kind of good. So we might see some coolness in a specific cup from it in PvP. Is it the best PvP Pokemon overall? Definitely not, but could have some hype from it in the future. These dark type Pokemon descending onto PvP, Gen 5, a lot going on with the dark types. Now as far as Hydreigon is concerned, it's not bad. It got Bite and Dark Pulse, which is a pretty decent dark type combo. So if the dragon type resistances come into play for Hydreigon and its benefit, you could see it maybe rocking it in some specific raids. I think Hydreigon has a future ahead of it. And then as far as PvP is concerned, maybe it'll be cool. I mean, it's got Bite and Dragon Breath, so Giratina, Dialga. I don't think Dialga is going to mind this guy too much, but Giratina might be spooked because Ghost type attacks resisted, and this thing has like 2 different flavors of super effective to go whomping it back with. So could have some hype in the Master League PvP. We got Volcarona, which is definitely a Gen 5 winner here. Bug and fire type Pokemon. So we got a giant flaming moth. Really good. So if you checked out my article in the past or my video in the past, talk about Volcarona possibly being the best bug type Pokemon, it would have to get Bug Bite and Bug Buzz. It got Bug Bite. It got Bug Buzz. And on top of that, it got Fire Spin and Overheat. So it's not too shabby in the fire type department as well. So sort of like how Chandelure can be this Omega Steel type Pokemon counter or Ice type Pokemon counter because it could get in some unique resistances thanks to its Ghost typing, which happens against Cobalion and Registeel and Regice. So that similar thing is also going on for Volcarona. So is it the #1 fire-type Pokemon? Not exactly, but is it an extremely good fire-type Pokemon? Most definitely. So Volcarona definitely has some hype going on with it. And then yeah, the bug-type moveset. Best bug-type Pokemon. Is being the best bug always going to come up 100% of the time? Probably not. But if it's raining outside, got the bug type boost, you're up against a psychic or grass type Pokemon, it's gonna be sorry. So as far as rating goes, I think this is definitely a Pokemon you'll want to keep your eye out for. Unfortunately, I feel like this guy's gonna be like 10km exclusive kind of nonsense. Like, are you ever gonna see a Larvesta in the wild? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. That was a clip from my live stream SwagTips. SwagTips streams most Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Twitch channel SwagTips. If you like this content and you want to see more like it, well then make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. If you got any questions on this content, comment below. Let me know what's up. I'll be happy to help you out. I'd also like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you're not aware, I got a Patreon. Patreon helps me fuel a video editor. So if you'd like to keep the swag train rolling on, check out Patreon. Now, this video is part 3 in what seems to be a 4-part series. So if this is your first time seeing this, why am I burping now? I'm okay.